Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have my Bible, I have my laptop, and we're gonna jump right into today's video. I want to share with you guys my testimony and the ways in which I have grown my relationship with God and how He has changed my life and blessed me so abundantly. And I'm going to try my best not to ramble your head off, but you know what? Baby, you're on YouTube, so you should be used to this anyway. If you are someone who has ever felt like you are struggling with your relationship with God, I hope that this story encourages you to keep pushing forward in your journey and to practice having radical faith that you will get to the place that you want to be. Okay, life before God. I am not someone who grew up in a very religious household. As a teenager, I did go to church sometimes. 1 second, my cat is literally trying to bust through the door. I actually almost had a heart attack. Let's go get him. He's such a teenager. So I did not grow up in a very religious household. I did attend church services as a teenager on like a Wednesday night, but I'm not gonna lie, that was more so about hanging out with friends than it was me working on knowing God and having a relationship with God. But as I entered my early 20s, I started to go through a tough season. And that season was lasting a long time. During that season, I struggled a lot with depression, anxiety, and just being confused about my purpose in life, why I'm doing all these things, and constantly switching up like my career and what I want to go to school for and who I'm hanging around. And no matter the changes that I made, I still found myself feeling very unhappy and unfulfilled. In those moments, I would seek God in the form of online services, finding scripture, but in reality, I would kind of cherry pick through the Bible to find scripture that matched what I wanted to hear rather than to fully surrender and seek God. I was struggling with my biggest op, which is imposter syndrome. I feel like no matter what, imposter syndrome is so crazy because it's really your own mind playing tricks to hold you back. Better yet, let us say the enemy in this case. The way that imposter syndrome was tearing me up as somebody who was very curious and had a burning desire to have a relationship with God, in my mind, all I kept thinking was that I am not worthy enough to have a relationship with God. And that in itself held me back for years. But here's the kicker. Even in my toughest moments, God never stopped pursuing me. I just have to take a moment to reflect on how beautiful and amazing that is, that we even have such a loving God, a God that will sit and pursue you. Even in my toughest seasons, God continued to bless me outside of even pursuing me. It feels like I blinked one day and next thing I know, it was 2023. I had a 6-month-old and I was pregnant with baby number 2. I'm in this beautiful house and I'm looking around. I'm surrounded by family and I feel like, how did I get here? I think during the time of my second pregnancy is when this burning desire to get close with God, something that is reoccurring. I go through these cycles, I fall short, I fall off, and the cycle repeats itself. Something about being pregnant with my second baby had me on like a different level of determination. That's honestly my turning point. I started to have not only a burning desire to have a relationship with God for myself, But envisioning the life that I want for my kids, I want them to have a mom who has a strong relationship with God. I want them to grow up in a healthy, strong Christian household with their mom and dad knowing the word, having a relationship with God, having Christ in the center of everything, and them growing up knowing the word and having their own relationship with God and being able to live out a life doing good work. The life that I envision for my kids very much has God at the center, and if I can't focus and be determined to really surrender it all and focus on my relationship with God, then how can I genuinely have that for my kids? So for the entirety of my second pregnancy, I really spent time talking to God, praying, and changing the ways in which I do pray. I feel like for a long time, all I ever prayed for was materialistic things. Like, I want this house, I want this car, I want this job, I want my husband to have this job, I want my family to have these things I want to have the kids, I want to have the things, you know? My prayers have shifted drastically. I truly want God to take away my anxiety. I want to know what I can do in my life that will be me living out God's will for me. Like, those are my prayers now, for God to help me have a level of discernment to know that some of the things that are popping into my head are from the enemy. Feelings of not being good enough, feelings of not being worthy of a relationship with God, or honestly, even at a certain point, believing that I might be making up having a relationship with God. And I hope that makes sense to someone. It kind of feels outrageous to say, like, am I making up having a relationship with God? Am I making up wanting to be a Christian? Like, how could I be making up wanting to be a Christian when I'm the one wanting to be a Christian? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but at the same time, that is fully the thoughts that come to my head. One of the biggest things that I prayed for is for God to show me signs that He is here and listening to me, because I think one of the big discouraging things is when you feel like you're praying and you're seeking and you're not hearing from God. And yeah, that can leave you feeling very discouraged and neglected almost. Like, sometimes that's something that I feel like kept me away, is that it almost brings up trauma of neglect, which I have a lot of. As I was praying more, I started to notice changes within me, and it wasn't just my heart changing, but outward things that I could see for myself. And slowly but surely, God answered those prayers. It wasn't easy, okay? Strengthening your relationship with God comes with a lot of challenges, especially when the enemy knows exactly what to do to pull you away. But I kept praying, I kept seeking Him, and He reminded me that we're locked in. He hears me, He knows my heart. He's been working in my life in ways that I can't even see, and in ways that are undeniable. I know what it's like to feel unworthy, to feel confused, to feel depressed. If you're feeling like you're not enough or you're not secure in your faith, I want to encourage you to keep seeking God with all of your heart. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to come exactly as you are. I want to say thank you so much for sticking around and listening to a little bit of my testimony. Maybe this wasn't the most personal video, I'm sorry, but it's day one, video one. Maybe we got to get to know each other slowly. If this has encouraged you and you feel called, leave a comment, leave a little bit of your testimony. I would love to hear from you guys. It wouldn't be an official YouTube video if I didn't tell you guys to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.